What's up, YouTube? It's your favorite dragon, Aerith. I am coming here to you today to give you another quick and dirty boss guide on one of the bosses that I have heard has been giving a lot of groups a whole lot of trouble, and that is the Overgrown Great Ancient in Alfgar Academy. This is definitely one of the more technical bosses, I would say, out of this dungeon tier. But the good news is that as dragons, you are incredibly well equipped to deal with this boss. Um, so yeah, without further ado, let's just kind of jump into it, and I'll show you pixel by pixel about what you should expect to be doing and how you can master this fight. Your team will absolutely love you, and doctors will, you know, probably doctors won't hate you. They'll think you're fine. Doctors, it's fine. Doctors won't hate you. Don't worry about it. So I brought it up here. This is a VOD from earlier today. And this is just us fighting the Overgrown Ancient. And yeah, let's just kind of go through this step by step. As you can see, we already cleared the room. There's an alternative strategy where you don't kill skitterflies and you fight the ancient over here. I'm not very fond of it. While it is technically more efficient. You don't have to do it to time the key. At least not yet. You might in like super high keys. But presently the wall doesn't seem to be the timer. So I think just doing the boss in the safest way possible is probably the better thing to do. And having all this room does make this fight considerably easier. So we pull the boss, we open up with an immediate fire breath. It's possible I should have delayed the fire breath till the ad phase. Usually I do. I think I just fired it off here, thinking like, you know what, let's just burn this boss as fast as we can, which is also a pretty reasonable mindset to have. So we're gonna get the first germinate. So as soon as this first germinate comes out, the first thing you're gonna want to do is pop your stasis. And the reason we're gonna do this is because we're gonna use stasis to mass dispel the bleeds that we get. Um, So there's an interesting interaction with stasis and dispels where you can store a dispel inside of your stasis. Um, However, you have to dry fire it because, of course, if you dispel something, then it incurs a cooldown. But if you use the spell before anyone gets the bleed, then there's no cooldown. So what we're gonna do here, you'll see me hover over the rogue. We're gonna dispel the rogue. I'll hover over the demon hunter. We're gonna bleed dispel the demon hunter. I'll hover over Carmesi. We're gonna bleed dispel our hunter. And then we're gonna have 3 bleed dispels stored in our stasis. So you can watch that happen. Go boom, boom, boom. And now we can just go back to doing some damage. See me do a quick little deep breath, fly over. This is where I would fire breath if I had not wasted it on pull. So then we get the bleeds, and you'll see me instantly pop that stasis, get rid of these 3 because those are the 3 that are stored in the stasis, and then dispel myself. So there goes those 3, and then I dispel myself. Easy peasy, nothing really to it. So the next thing that's gonna happen is we're gonna get another germinate into burst forth. You can see my boss timers here. Um, so for this first one, since we have a warrior tank, we're able to assign some sort of raid cooldown to every single one of the burst forths. So for the first one, what we're gonna do is we're going to use our aura mastery, the dragon aura mastery. My goodness, the name of it. Zephyr. There we go. It's aura mastery. We're calling it aura mastery. But yeah, we're gonna use Zephyr for this first one. With the anticipation that the Quasi is going to use Shout for the second one. And then once again, we will Zephyr the third one. So of course we go ahead and we Zephyr. I start ramping on the party here. By just spreading some echoes. And then I'm immediately gonna put a reversion on every single party member and 2 on myself to make sure that the other reversions are taking for more as a result of my health being more than theirs. We always want to be looking to be more healthy than the rest of our team. So giving myself the 2 and everyone else 1 is a reasonable thing to do here. So this next phase is usually where I think most wipes happen. And the reason for that is your tank dies. So as the healer, like your tank is kind of your problem here. The tank has obviously got to manage their CDs really well. But you have a lot that you need to be doing. The first thing you need to be doing is dispelling the tank. You have to dispel off cooldown. You want to let the tank get to about 20 stacks before dispelling, and then just dispel every single time it's back up from there. And that's like pretty much all there is to that methodology. Since there's no bleeds, we don't really have a lot to do. This phase is a lot more hectic when you do have bleeds. Yeah, so you'll see we dispel Quasi there. And we go back to dealing damage. We get our fire breath back. Dispel Quasi again here. And we go back to dealing damage. So this is a safe one. There is no burst forth here. Now we do make a slight mistake. Um, so that first branch that comes out, since we mass dispelled the first set of bleeds, there's no reason to actually kill that branch yet. What we can do is we can save the branch until we get the second set of bleeds, which you're gonna see us pick up here shortly. And then kill the branch. But we did have too much damage on the branch essentially, so we went ahead and we killed it. That is a slight problem. And it does interfere with our strategy just a little. See, so we've killed the branch on accident. So this is too soon. So basically, you're gonna see we're gonna get the clear, and then shortly thereafter, we're gonna get more bleeds. So we're just a couple seconds off. It was almost perfect. Um, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. So basically, like once this mistake has happened, I go into the survival mode. And the first thing I'm gonna want to do is just go ahead and get everyone topped off because that bleed does hurt very badly. There's a couple ways you can do this. I kind of like reversions here. Like going echo, 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 reversion the whole party. Into Verdant Embrace myself, into Dream Breath. I actually just choose to go ahead and just top us off right here by just putting a Verdant Embrace on myself, and then putting the Dream Breath out. I start to channel the Spirit Bloom, think better of it. I go ahead and echo some reversions. So what we're gonna do here is like this is what you'll do if you do fail to dispel, and this is really important. You save tip the scales. So what we're gonna wait for, we're gonna get Quasi's gonna shout here, so our health bars are like really big. Is right before the burst forth happens, which is about to happen imminently. We're going to tip the scales and we're going to Spirit Bloom to guarantee that everyone is 100% health right as the damage is incurred. Boom. So you see us do that. Actually do it a slight second early. And immediately off the back of that, I go into an Emerald Communion. Now usually in this phase, what you'll want to do is have like the full set of echoes and go echo, echo, echo into Verdant Embrace, into Emerald Communion. I didn't do that. That's probably a slight mistake. But I mean, either way, all's well that ends well. The Emerald Communion is very good here as well. So I get scared for humanity here. So the second phase is the scarier one for your tank. Your tank will have used a lot of their defensives in the first phase. So what I usually do is I do not use the stagger on the first one because it's less than a minute between each phase, and I will stagger the tank during the second one. So you're gonna see here that I've just put the stagger on the tank, and then I'm gonna go ahead and return to dispelling off cooldown. You saw me dispel plus give the tank stagger. And yeah, from here it's just a matter of just keeping your team alive. We do actually have stasis back, so we get to clear our bleeds here. So my internal clock is like a little bit off here because of like the way that we did the branches is incorrect. I kind of botched this next thing. So I have stasis back. So what I ought to be doing is right here, I should be popping stasis and going bleed dispel, bleed dispel, bleed dispel. That's what you want to do. I make a mistake. I don't do that. I'm a little bit late here. And I'm a little bit distracted because the rogue missed their dispel. I'm not sure how because they're melee, but they did. And I mean, it happens. Like, people are going to miss their dispels, right? Usually they're going to die when they do. So since this person has missed their dispel, I go ahead and I echo them with the Dream Breath. So they have two Dream Breath hots on them. I start living flaming them. And then I start to do the bleed dispel, but I do it. I'm slightly off with my timing here, so we're not going to be able to bleed dispel everyone, which is a little bit annoying. But it's ultimately fine. I do go ahead and Verdant Embrace myself. I pop a stasis. I get them off the people we can. I'm able to make it so that just myself and the rogue have it. But I'm not realistically going to be able to keep the rogue up here during Germinate. And the boss is dead, so I'm just kind of not too worried about it. Just think to myself, you know what, I'll res him after. So there's a pretty good example of like kind of what you should be doing on the Overgrown Ancient. Of course, there are mistakes here as I pointed them out and tried to make it so that you don't have to make those mistakes as well. But just to go over the basic strategy, in full one time, we're basically going to start the fight. We're going to, as soon as Germany happens, pop a stasis, bleed dispel, bleed dispel, bleed dispel. Then as soon as we get the bleeds, release stasis, dispel ourselves. We're not going to use time dilation on the tank in the first ad phase. We are going to keep the tank hotted and keep dispelling the tank. We're then going to get a second ad phase, or we're going to get a burst forth. We're going to use our Zephyr ability, which is of course the Aura Mastery ability. For the burst forth, we're going to top everyone from there. We're then going to get a second set of bleeds, to which point we will kill the branch, remove those bleeds, and then we'll get the second burst forth, which will happen immediately after. For that one, we'll have our warrior tank use their shouts. Um, and then from there, you just kind of go on. You'll have your master spell back for the third set of bleeds, and yeah, that's really about all there is to this boss. Definitely a very fun boss. This is one that I got a lot of practice on in beta. We did a bunch of tyrannical grievous keys with this boss. Of course, when you're doing a tyrannical grievous, this fight becomes like incredibly nasty. So having the perfect strategy is going to be of the utmost importance. One thing I will note about next week, which is tyrannical grievous, is you do not want to accidentally dispel the grievous when you're attempting to do your mass dispel. That is a problem I can see lots and lots of players having. So just make sure that everyone is topped off. No one is in grievous going into that first germinate, and then of course going into the third germinate. Um, so yeah, that should hopefully help you out quite a lot and make this fight, hopefully a lot easier. Give me 1 second. So yeah, thanks everybody. That's about all I have for the Overgrown Ancients. Keep an eye on this channel. I'm definitely looking to make some full dungeon guides coming up soon. That's like the number one requested thing that I get on my Twitch. Speaking of which, I'm probably streaming right now. If you want to come over and say hi. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to say, hey, thanks for the videos. You can also click the like and subscribe button. You can comment. The comments help a lot with the algorithm. I think the buttons are somewhere. I don't really know where they are. I'm sure that you know because you're looking at the screen. I'm looking at not the YouTube screen. But yeah, that's all I really got on this one. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. I hope you're all staying very mentally healthy in these early expansion times. It's very easy to overdo it and play too much, which is definitely what I've been doing. So make sure to take care of yourself. Practice self-care, everyone, and self-love. You're beautiful, and so is the world. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.